Hello and welcome to another episode of Building Minnesota RØKKR. I am Ashley, aka Midnite, Director of Content here at the team. We got Brett Diamond, the COO, in the building again. And now today we have with us as a guest TTinyy, aka Devin Robinson, one of the reserve players for the team, and also, I mean, you've been streaming a lot. You've been on your grind. You're known for your S&D streams. So welcome to the podcast, and it's great to have you on the team. One thing I do want to note quick here is we are still in the WeWork. We're getting very close to being in our new facility, but we've been chilling at the WeWork for the last few months. Shout out to them for providing us this space and allowing us to record and do all of our business ops basically from here. So shout out to the WeWork, and shout out to TTinyy for coming down today. So
thank you. Shout out to you, Ashley. It's good to have you. Good to have you back.
Yes.
We muddled through a couple episodes without you.
I heard you forgot to hit record for.
We had some technical difficulties in the last episode.
I felt so bad. First of all, it's so good to be back. So thank you for you did a really good job hosting. Aside from not hitting record.
Aside from small details.
Everything was good. You just got to hit record.
Yeah. They literally recorded for like 30 minutes and then had to redo it for the last episode.
Oh, that's tragic.
But we always have a backup recording on the phone, and our wonderful videographer, producer, editor extraordinaire Ellie did a great job of putting it together. We really ended up using most of the phone audio for that one.
I couldn't even tell because she sent me the phone audio and I was like, I could hear like glasses being set down. I was like, I don't really like that, and I was like, well, did you re-record it? And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure then. So I just kind of let her rock. I mean, it's my belief that when someone's good at something, you let them do it, right? Yep. So I let her do it, and I thought it sounded, for what the circumstances were, you did a really good job. So I
think we'll have a challenge out there to anyone that watches the podcast if they can figure out the moment,
the timestamp.
Yeah, the timestamp where I look down and realize that we're not recording.
I don't think that's in there though, right? Because you edited it out.
It's in there.
Is it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, I
have people going back and picking at it. Oh, was this it? Was that
it?
So
if anyone
that needs to be a GIF.
Yeah, if somebody can pick out that moment and figure it out, we'll send them some merch.
That would be the first person to tweet us the timestamp where Brett realizes in the last podcast with Chris Vanderbeek. I'm forgetting the episode number right now. I think it's 12. I might have made that up.
The one with Chris Vanderbeek and Annie Scott Riley.
Yep, and Brett, and I wasn't there, so I felt bad about that. When I got the text, I was like, dude, the one time, But no, you did a great job other than that hosting, and I feel like, I don't know, you're a natural. But wanted to make sure I was in the building today because Tiny's in, and me and TTinyy, we've known each other for a little bit. So I've known you from Minnesota. I've known you from your Search and Destroy streams that you've done, and then we have mutual buds, right? Were you friends with Davis? Create?
I was with Davis, Aaron Create. We first time we met was in Dallas, Texas for World War II. That was my very first event.
Yep, I was living down there.
It was like a hotel bar or something like that.
Yeah, we were. I forget the name of it.
I was sober though, 100%.
Yes, you were.
Just
yes,
that out there.
as you were underage, and the bar would not serve you. But I was intoxicated with my buddies who were all also overage, and then you came in with them, and because I was already there, and I was like, I met you, and I think I asked, did you tell me you were from Minnesota, or did I ask you where you're from?
Yeah, I think I told you I was from Minnesota.
Okay, because you knew.
Yeah, for sure.
The Minnesota legend, Midnite. I'm just kidding. But
free-for-all queen.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we just immediately, I was like, oh, dude, you're from Minnie. That's so cool. And then, I started following you and started following your streams, and just, I think your grind has been really impressive for everything you've done. And obviously, the hometown thing helps, but even just, knowing how committed you are to your stream, and now this opportunity, because I know last year you were competing in the amateur brackets at the events, right? So now you're on the team as a reserve player. So is Exceed, aka Caden. We're going to be referencing him quite a bit here throughout the podcast. We'll have him on another future episode. But now you guys are effectively going to be on a team competing in the Challengers Series this year.
Yeah, the Path to Pro scene. We're going to be playing with Gorgonite, Mochilla, and Llama God. They've all been in the scene for quite some years now.
Yes.
They've all had a lot of accomplishments, so it definitely felt like the right 3 players to pick up while we were scrambling through players. And basically, we just been grinding about it. So we got the first event coming up the 24th through the 26th in January. So that's held at the Armory.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we've obviously, you guys have heard us talk about it on the podcast. We've been preparing for that event. The the amateur challengers or path to pro bracket that's going to happen, as well as the matches that are set. We're super stoked. You guys can buy your tickets now at rockertickets.gg. Come hang out with us. Come see us.
You might as well.
Come meet Tiny.
Come
Come meet me. Come watch the games. There's going to be a lot to follow. And I'm really excited for you to like kind of just get this opportunity to really like show. How do you feel like things have been going with scrims? I know it's been tough with the holidays, plus Caden moved.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough because it all started. First, we were OD grinding and everything was going smooth, and then that 1 week we came out here to do content.
Yeah.
And then so that means Caden couldn't scrim. I could scrim because I was just at my house, but Caden couldn't scrim. And then we're also the type where like if we don't scrim a lot, then we just start back pacing, and it was just bad. So we try to stay consistent with the schedule, but obviously with Caden and then the moving situation, we just moved into the apartment, so that took a couple of days off for us. But we're back now, and we've been grinding a lot, so everything feels good right now. Now
that it's 2020, you guys are really kind of like setting your heels, digging your heels in, and just practicing. And Mochilla too. Am I mistaken? Did you just play with or against him at that Black Ops 2 thing in Dallas?
I played with him actually. That's when I first knew I liked playing with him, because I was like, oh yeah, well, I like playing with him on LAN. Like he's cool guy, funny, and he knows what he's doing.
He's been around, so. And Llama God too. I've definitely heard of him. He's, I think, underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Gorgon's the other guy. I'm not too sure. Can
Gorgonite, he played on UIU, and then there was another pro team last year he played on. I forget, but yeah, he was in the professional league for most of the season last year. Overall, he had a pretty good season. There were some ups and downs about it, but overall, I watched him play for a few years now. Even in the Search and Destroy community, I think I met him in IW. It was he was definitely very talented at the game. So I always just kept up with him, and he's been consistent.
Yeah.
So, and also shout out to our coach Mikey too. We picked up a coach.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Storied. We picked him up a few weeks ago, I want to say, and he's definitely been knocking it out the ballpark for sure. He's been recording our VODs, telling us what's going wrong. He'll come up with motivational speeches and all that. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
He's 10 toes into it, so I like it.
That's awesome. I don't even think I've heard the 10 toes before.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like 10 toes, like 10 toes from Kyle Rudolph this last weekend.
I'm
sorry.
For sure.
I'm still
stoked. Kyle Rudolph did his thing for
I'm
sure.
I'm still stoked off the win this last week, and I can't stop thinking about it. But that's awesome though. So, and you mentioned like after this, you're gonna go do like film review. Like you guys are really
we're
putting
really
your
trying
best foot forward with this.
We're trying to become the best team we can possibly be with the time frame given of how we can grind. So we're just trying to put in our effort. You feel me? Because obviously we're the academy team. We can't make y'all look bad either. So it's not even just us. It's everybody now. So it's bigger than that.
The stakes, I think, are now higher for you than ever. But it seems like you're really taking to it well. And my question, and I'll let kind of Brett ask some questions too, because I'm sure you have some genuine curiosity. But I just wanted to get a quick background of like, how did you start like getting into Search and Destroy and then streaming it? What made you want to stream it? And now like I've been watching I haven't been able to tune as much as I want. I usually would just put your stream up at night when I'm like doing emails or whatever. But I haven't been able to as much recently. But every time I do, I see your sub numbers higher every single time. Is that motivating? And like,
yeah, no, that definitely motivates me. I feel like the way I look at things, if I make a good goal, I feel like I can always get better at that goal. So it's like I never want to get complacent on where I'm at. So I always want to get better and do better. So like I remember one time I hit 400 subs. And we were on a huge sub train. It was like 130, and I was just like,
damn.
Well, next goal is 500, on to the next, and like we just kept growing and growing. So that's one thing about it I like about it. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely the way to go about it.
And did you start in Ghost or in IW? When did you start like really streaming seriously?
Streaming seriously? So I started streaming like inconsistently in Ghost for sure.
Okay.
Just because that's when S&D was popping. Like that was at its peak, I feel like.
I don't know. How can we describe to Brett how great Ghost Search and Destroy was, and why was it so great? It
was just so great because the whole community was in. Like it wasn't like, oh, this part. Like now there's different types of people in the community. There's like the S&D players, there's the variant players, there's streamers. But everybody at the time played it. So it was like everybody was just in one group.
It felt like everybody was an S&D kid. Literally, even the pub people.
The pub players were S&D players. The pros, the streamers, everybody knew S&D. And if there was a big tournament going on, everybody was watching it. There was like no hatred to the game. It was I feel like it was the most consistent S&D game.
It really was.
Was that because that mode in that particular game
and the maps
was good.
Right?
Yeah, everything was balanced out perfectly.
Like Warhawk, Octane, those are like iconic Search and Destroy maps. And just like IW, one thing I will say about them, Infinity Ward, with the cycle, whenever their games come up, I feel really good about the search and destroy that's coming.
Yeah,
Do you feel like with Modern Warfare now, were your expectations pretty high knowing it was an IW game and knowing it was Modern Warfare? And how do you feel like S&D is going this year?
My expectations were actually really high, and they met most of my things. They did a very good job this year on Search and Destroy, and they've been trying to work with the people, saying like people didn't want Dead Silence to be like, or they wanted Dead Silence as a perk, so instead of giving it a perk, they gave it a specialist. So like it takes a little bit more skill, so you can't just sprint around on the map, but now you have to actually maneuver the map instead of just getting lucky on it.
I probably, unpopular opinion, and I know, like, admittedly, I haven't played since November. Like, I've just been so on top of not feeling well and just being so busy. I haven't been able to play. But I kind of like the Dead Silence thing. I'm a free-for-all and S&D player, though. So I like having to time it.
It's a lot better, I feel like, since they made the footsteps a lot more silent. Like, if you crouch walk, you can only hear somebody if they're right next to you, like on the other side of the wall. Yeah, so it's not like
because I was hearing people across the map last time I played.
Yeah,
so.
See, you don't do that anymore. You hear them if they're full on sprinting, but like just don't sprint around.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's why Tupac, do you know who he is?
Yes, Doug.
That's why
Tupac,
he's nasty at this game. He's vicious. If he joins the S&D tournament, half the tournament teams back out. Like, it's bad because he just knows how to move around the map silently, but also use like his tacticals, his lethals. He just knows how to maneuver.
Him and Holly, and I'm so sorry, I forget the other player, just won.
It was Aiden.
Yep, okay.
They just won the Hitch birthday tournament.
They just won the bot tournament. Hitch does these funny tournaments, Brett, where there's 3 players playing S&D, and then one of the other players is a bot put in by the game. And so there's funny plays, like people try to trick shot the bot, or I saw a clip. Did you see the clip of Seth getting turned on by one of the bots?
I didn't see that. He got turned on
it
by a
was
bot?
bad. Yes, it was
what recruit difficulty was it on?
No
was it
idea.
Hard?
I don't know. But it like snapped and like hip fired him, and he died, like headshot multiplied, died instantly. It was hilarious.
Like the bot on his
No, on the other team. So basically,
people are messing around because the bot usually sucks.
Yes.
And then every once in a while the bot kicks into gear. And, and
like he was, I think he was focused on. I'll just have to show you guys a clip, and I'm sorry, this is probably terrible for people listening, but it was.
I'll be the one to say
clip.
it. The bots can actually snap on you if like randomly, because when I shoot bots in warm up, there's always that one bot out of like 30, 40 that just randomly kills you, and this is I didn't expect that.
I like the tournament yesterday because like. The bots have generic like names, like Williams. So now people are saying like Williams is gonna make the league. He's the best. He's the best bot. But anyway, I just think like stuff like that's really cool, and that just kind of speaks to the S&D community too, and why it's so big on Twitch is because and maybe you can just like flesh out like your opinions on this too. But my thing with Twitch and S&D Call of Duty in specific is just the game's always evolving. The strategies and the meta is always kind of evolving. So being able to tune into someone like you, kind of pick up the strategy, is that like kind of the whole allure of it, or what about it do you think like attracts Twitch viewers the most?
For Search and Destroy, I feel like one is the prize pool. Like the higher the prize pool, the more people are gonna watch, obviously. So it's just like that's like any given sport. Like you're probably gonna watch the Super Bowl more times than you're gonna watch a normal game if you're not a football fan. You feel me? So it's like even if you're not a fan, you can get more. Yeah. Like
so
you
is
can
that
just get more support
with
for it.
tournaments, knowing it's like how much would like an average like okay this is a real nice money tournament?
See the way the tournaments are dying down now.
Is it wagers that are big?
Wagers are a little bit more big, but tournaments itself are dying down just because there's so many websites trying to come up and make one. And they're not even trying to work together on it. They're more so just like, I want to be the upper dog. We're going to try to make this tournament that'll appeal to you guys, but then another tournament will make a different tournament to appeal to other people.
Won't they like change the rules and the maps too?
So I think the 3 websites right now are Checkmate Gaming, Game Battles, and UMG, and there's a couple even like third-party ones.
Like CMG and stuff?
Like GG Loyalty, they just ended up, like, their website just dropped. I don't know what's the deal with that. They said they're coming back, like, payment issues, but that's not even my business. I don't have anything. But no, there's just so many websites that they have different rule sets, different maps, just different, like, things. Like, they're adding new maps and old maps, and they're just not on the same page. So tournaments are not in a good state right now. Like,
that makes sense.
It'll be, like, I've had a prize that's, like, $7. That's, like, when they used to be 100-something guaranteed every time. So they're definitely low right now. But at the start of the game, they were lit. I'm not going to lie. At the start of the game, the tournaments are always lit.
Well, one of the things that I learned at the start of the game, because I had watched streams and was watching some of our players stream, but I watched more at the start of this game than obviously I had in previous, anytime prior. For sure. I didn't realize how many tournaments were going on simultaneously until I was watching you and the other guys stream. Just hearing the chat, like, okay, we have this other, we need to win. Yeah. We need to close it out on this map so we can get to the next tournament
on time.
In 10 minutes.
Does that speak to like all
hilarious,
Is that because all the sites are simultaneously throwing these and you're just trying to grind?
I mean, it's a piece of that, and also like we know, like as an S&D player, not even just streamers, as an S&D player, people are gonna join more tournaments at once, just because like some of these tournament sites won't even forfeit you just because like they want you to play on their site. So you're gonna get away with it.
You've got a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, you got a little bit of.
So like, is there? So my thing when I used to like stream game battles.
Yeah.
My thing was if they were longer than 15 minutes late to the match, I would take them to Dairy Queen. I would DQ them.
Yep, for sure.
I would say you're wasting my time.
So that's I DQ. More than 15 minutes is a long time.
That's it, exactly. And I'm just sitting there, inviting them, messaging them, trying to entertain my chat. So when there's multiple tournaments going on like that, do you forfeit them, or is it like a unwritten rule that you're like, oh, I know they're in another tournament and this could be me in the next thing, so I'm gonna not forfeit them?
I mean, that's the thing about this community is some people will forfeit you and some people won't. Like if you're friends with them, it's kind of like, hey, bro, can you do me a solid and just wait for me right here?
I'll take my friend to Dairy Queen, bro. You're charging my time.
See, me, I started doing it to the point where like, because if you sit there on stream and you're waiting for your match, and then next thing 30 minutes go by, the viewers are gonna die down. Like everything's gonna go down. So the way I look at it, if it's one map, I'll wait. Yeah. But if you're in a best of 3 and you're making me wait 3 maps, that 15 to 20 minutes could take a map. So that's me waiting like 40 minutes. I'm not gonna wait 40 minutes for you. Like,
yeah, and then you're like, you
feel me? We gotta figure something out. Sometimes I'll be like, play one map here, go back and play that, and we'll finish it out. Or like, I'll just forfeit them. But I'll give them a heads up. So it's not like I'm doing.
You're communicating and like trying to make it happen.
Yeah. Now if you just don't respond to me, and if you just like are torching my time, I'll just forfeit you instantly. Yeah. Just cause.
Take them to Dairy Queen. You should start use the Dairy Queen.
I'm gonna start using that. I'm taking you to Dairy Queen.
Tell them you taking them to Dairy Queen. That's what I would say. My chat thought was fun.
I'm gonna quote Ashley on Twitter for that.
I hadn't heard that one before.
You gotta take them to DQ. Get them a little blizzard.
Ashley, so question for you. So you just asked Evan why search is more popular amongst some fans. Why do you think that is? What's your take on the different modes and who likes what?
It's just like, okay, so I started playing like 10 years ago in COD 4, which is in 2008, 2009. So I started playing, I found Search and Destroy pubs. I originally started playing a lot of free-for-all because the first game I played was TDM, and my teammates, I didn't have my mic on, but my teammates, I'm like sitting in my like basement playing COD 4. I'm terrible. The guys on the mic are like, who the hell is PLHS? They're awful. They're the reason we lost. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go play free-for-all so that it's all dependent on me. Yeah, so if I lose, it's my fault, right? Mm-hmm. So then I got addicted to that. I was like, holy cow, I could be the best of these 8 people in the lobby. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. So I got addicted to that. Then I got bored. I just kept winning. I'm like, this is boring. And then I was reading like how to get to 10 prestige gold cross. Search and Destroy offers the most XP. I know this is a really roundabout way for me to answer this, but it's gonna make sense. So I was like, I want to get the gold cross. How do I get it? What's the best way to like rank up fast? It was either headquarters or Search and Destroy, because you would get a certain amount of points for planting a bomb or defusing it or getting the kills. The kills were worth way more points. Yeah. So I was like, lit, I'm gonna go in there. So I go in there. Everyone thought I was a little boy, which I just was like, I was so tired of trying to like people would be like, are you a little kid or a girl? And I'd be like, I'm a little kid. Like, I just don't even want to like
I'm not even going to entertain it
Yeah, like anymore. I'm just so, because then when I tell them I'm a girl, it gets super like weird. So, and this was like a while ago before like many girls played, I felt like, or at least I didn't run into many of them. It was like, it's like finding a unicorn.
No, there's definitely more females
than for sure. It's so awesome too. But yeah, so got super into Search and just got like addicted to the strategy behind it, because I was ranking up faster, but it was also just like, there's more on the line. Instead of being able to respawn right away, now I have to watch, I have to spectate, I have to figure out how the bomb's being planted. Counter-Strike, which is a very similar premise, is one of the biggest esports. So it's just a more strategic version of the game. There's a lot, it feels like there's more higher stakes. And when you do even like, I would just do game battles ladder matches, right? Which are, I mean, literally it's just for fun. But I would take it super serious.
Yeah,
like I would take him to Dairy Queen. I really would. I would, or like if they use the wrong perk or something, I would be like.
I would definitely forfeit. I used to be so petty. I'm
Same.
not gonna lie. If you have one rule wrong, I'm definitely forfeiting.
If they have
for
like
XP, I would do it. Yes.
remember when they changed the rule from having 3P or third person spectating being on, and then they made it so you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then so if I would like test to see after I died if they had 3P on, and if they did, I would be like, end the game. We just won the map and the game.
The reason for not allowing that is so they can see your once they're dead, they can see your strategy.
So you could like if I was spectating, well, let's be real, I would be in the dead lobby spectating TTinyy. And so I'd be like hitting 3P or third person so I could like angle my camera and look around while maybe he's planning.
Everything, basically.
Yeah, and so that was like for a while it was allowed, but then they like got strict on it.
The idea is you can still spectate, but you have to stay in first person.
Yeah, you get to see what he sees. So, I mean, there is, like, I am still looking at a screen, and if I see something he doesn't, I say, oh, he's over here. Maybe, like, I noticed with you.
Now I see what you're saying. Yeah. It was, I was thinking it was about learning their tendencies to use it against in the future, but it's about being
literally being able to,
so you can still communicate
you
can see over here and you're telling him.
It's like I'm literally the eyes in the back of his head, which is not allowed.
Like if I were to plant the bomb, I wouldn't even have to check the bomb. I just hide around the corner, and she could watch it for me.
Got it.
Yeah,
so like I wouldn't even have to do anything. It's basically like a free win.
In Modern Warfare 3 it was like that, right?
Yeah, I liked it, to be honest. Modern Warfare 3 was a really good game, actually.
It was a good competitive game.
Yeah, I really like playing Search. I'm not particularly good at it, right?
That's okay.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite mode to play because of because the stakes are higher and it's a little more intense, and watching it too. I also think it's a little bit easier for a casual viewer to watch because people are more deliberate with their movements.
Yeah, you can tell like
cautious.
The play.
It's not as it's a little easier to follow if you're not someone that plays the game a ton.
Yeah, like if the beginning of the round starts and Tiny's like, we're going A, let's hit A hard. Then like as a viewer, you're like, oh shit, they're all in on A. I'm all in on watching this now. Like, I don't know. I find it more entertaining to play and watch. But I do love like free for all still. I have a hard time getting really into like domination and the other game modes.
Yeah, during one, I played a fair amount when the game first came out, and I haven't played probably since November either. Just been so busy. But I had a big moment where basically my goal was just to get to a point of not sucking, right? Of not consistently being like the worst person on like my random pub lobby, right?
I won't be at the bottom of the leaderboard. I won't.
Yeah, and some I don't even know who I was playing with, but I came back and won a 1v5, and I texted Ashley. I was like, "Hey, I'm not terrible anymore."
Wait, you 1v5? Yeah. I don't think I've done that yet.
Dude.
Well, hey, we need to get Brett a contract, yo.
Yeah, get him on.
I'm sure I was not playing anybody who was any good. I don't even know. It was just a random public match, just whoever I was playing. But that was a big moment for me.
That's awesome. It's and I think Search delivers like the most like hype moments. My first game, so I got the game Modern Warfare. I usually get it early. This year I didn't. I was like, I'm a pleb, whatever, and I hop into Search because I'm like, let's see. And I got on Hackney Yard. I dropped, I think it was 20 or 22. I tweeted out the screenshot, so I'd have to look. But it's just so much more exciting. So much more is on the line. And I know you could probably agree, especially, I mean, the type that he plays. Like, he's playing against the other, like, some of the best search and destroy players. And it's for money. So it's like the stakes are really there. And you really start to find, like, nerdy things, right? Like, is that something that you kind of like really try to do? Do you try to get a lot of like the nerd angles or the nerd spots?
Yeah, I try to, but I more so just find spots that I know like you're not going to kill me off this one, or like I have the advantage on this one, like there's definitely some times where like I have some strats where like there's angles where like if I know you're around this corner in this area, if I like, it's called breaking cameras. I don't know if you know what that is. Basically, you get to break the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, I've seen enough Twitter posts.
Yeah, literally, like you double sprint, jump, you're breaking the game. Like bullets aren't gonna hit you normally as they would.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of nerdy stuff you can do for it.
And there's always something like that in COD. And I think most like video games, like especially like a multiplayer like first person shooter, there's always kind of like little tricks that you can do. Like, is snaking still a thing? I'm kind of
it's still a thing, but it's like GA, gentleman agreement. So like if you're sitting there just going up and down. I remember last year, like, you know who Royalty is?
Yeah.
So he was playing last year and he ran out of ammo and it was like a big match, and like all he could do was just sit there and snake. He's not gonna just jump up and let him like lose. Yeah. So he was just sitting there snaking for the last couple of seconds, and people were like debating, is he a scum for that? Like, I personally didn't think so, just because like he didn't have no ammo. But there's still all those movements. Yeah.
What is snaking?
So it's like, Well, you could explain it way better.
Yeah, so basically, like, you could be behind something, like you're on a head glitch, and they're in the game. I don't know why, whether it has to do with the hertz or not, but if you just keep laying up and down, they can't see you, but you can see them like clear as day.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bobbing type of thing, and it looks kind of strange. Like, it doesn't look as strange when you're doing it as it is when someone else is doing it to you.
Just going up, down, really quickly.
Yeah, and it's like they're peeking, but also not allowing themselves to be shot.
Like, you'll see them, like, they'll see you 5 times, and you'll see them probably once or twice.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a thing where you ask yourself, is he doing this? Because you're not even 100% sure.
Okay.
So it's definitely, that.
I wonder how you even GA that.
I mean...
And then even if they do it, you can't really, like, do
you can't.
anything about it.
I mean, even if someone did it to you, you can't forfeit them.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, you broke the rules.
It's a reputation thing, though, right?
Yeah,
Is that the whole thing with, like... And I don't want to get too far into, like, the gentleman's agreement, like, discussion, but as far as, like, in the S&D community... A lot of you guys know each other and are friends, so do people start to develop reputations?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of reputations, but for Search and Destroy, people don't follow the GAs. The only people that I've ran into that do GAs are like professional players that 100% go to these events. But a lot of the people in the Search and Destroy tournaments, like silencers, those are GA'd.
Yeah.
But if you join a tournament, you're getting a silencer. Like,
oh, okay.
in Respawn, they GA leaning and mounting. In Search and Destroy, people have leaning and mounting strategies. Like, it's 2 different things because the Respawn community GAs it. They don't, like, ban it due to league rules. But the Search and Destroy community, they're just open to it. I'm not going to lie. There's only been a few events that I've been actually, like, so excited for, to the point where, like, there's nights where I literally dream about it. And this is one of the events just because it's the first event in Minnesota. I've lived here my whole life, basically. And it's just, like, I don't know. I look at it like, it may sound weird, but it's a dream come true, to be honest with you. Like, I got on this professional team in my home state where my family and friends are. Like, everything's just good right now. So I'm really excited for this event. That's really about it.
Yeah, I am too. Awesome. And I feel the same way too. Just being, like, someone who's just so hardcore into Call of Duty and the esports side from Minnesota. Lived here my whole life, minus the 2 years in Texas. You know, just having something here to this, like all of the whole league coming here, I couldn't like you said, like, I couldn't have even, like, dreamt of that.
There's been so many days, like, when I was a kid, like, where I just looked up, like, local LAN events in Minnesota. Like, I'll tell my parents to take me, like, 40 minutes away if there was one.
You play like a GameStop midnight release,
literally
or something.
Just give me something. But there never was for me. So I was like, this is definitely it. So when you told me the first event was in Minnesota, I was so stoked.
I know.
I was so happy. I was okay, bet.
I don't even think I mentioned, like, that all, like, for some reason I didn't find out that all 12 of the teams were coming. That's gonna, like, basically we're kicking off the league, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, that is so amazing. I don't know. It just speaks to, like, the ownership that we have, how hard they fought for that, and the fact that it's happening. I think it's gonna be awesome, and I'm excited for people to experience some winter weather.
Oh, yeah, no, that's one thing for sure. I've been telling players online, look, it's going to be cold. Y'all have not had this type of cold. I stepped out to my car last night. It was 0 degrees. Yeah. You guys haven't had that.
It's a tough scene. I mean, I will say we are close to the Skyway, so you can maneuver the city and go get a bite to eat, or, you know, your hotel, whatever is connected. But I think you will need to, like, either, you know, walk outside a little bit.
You have to be outside for about a block to get from where the Skyway ends to the Armory.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah. Well, that's
2 minutes.
Yeah, two minutes outside. You guys will survive.
Just enough for any visitors, players to get a taste of the cold.
Yeah.
But not so long that they have to, you know.
Yeah, that's
how. I'm gonna do this way. If I was staying in a downtown hotel for this, which I probably will be, I'm not gonna bring a coat.
Yeah.
2 minutes outside, might be 5 degrees out.
Yeah,
just or get in the building.
Or even if you're, like, Ubering real quick, you get out of the Uber.
Fine. But to us, that's normal.
Yeah,
like, to someone from, like, California, where it gets 40 degrees minimum.
Yeah.
They will lose it. They'll just be like, yeah, I need a coat. Like, people are, like, my S&D, like, friends, and just in my little circle, they were telling me, should I buy a coat? Like, they're down to buy a coat right now just for this week or weekend they're here.
Did you tell them absolutely bring snow pants?
I told them, no, not
you
snow
need
pants.
Mittens, bro.
I told them bring a coat, though. It would get cold, for sure.
I mean, you should have a coat, but I feel like when we see on Twitter, when we talk to the people at the event, I'm going to really find out, like, whose heart's in it. You know, if they're complaining about the cold, and I know they probably were only in the cold for 2 minutes, or if they were in the cold for longer than that, they're just not being smart about it.
Yeah.
You know what I found, though? There's no place other than probably Southern California that's really consistently warm in January and February. I mean, Florida.
Yeah, they all get chilly.
The
for
South,
sure.
like it's all cold. Once you're below 60 degrees or 50 degrees, it's all cold.
That's one thing that I found, because I did live in Dallas for a couple of years. You know, I thought the winter there would be lit, like it's gonna be warm. It's rainy and like 40.
Rainy,
you still don't want to go outside, you know. And I like the snow, so. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
Super stoked to have you a part of the team. I know you're the hometown hero of the team. Super stoked to have you a part of it. You and Caden doing work, you know, in the Challengers record. We're definitely going to be following you and seeing what's going on. We'll keep you guys updated. And obviously, if you do come to the event, ROKKRtickets.gg, by the way, if you do. Or if you've already got your tickets, you're on it. I mean, I know, like, some people were, like, on it. And they've got their tickets real quick. So you don't want to miss this one. See you guys at the Armory. It's like 2 weeks away, 2 or 3 weeks away.
2 weeks.
You'll be, after this, I'm assuming you're going to go into your grind, grind phase.
Back to make a bowl of ramen noodles and go sit at my setup for the rest of the day.
There you go. And then I know, like you mentioned maybe before we started recording, that you're going to be streaming sometimes, but maybe not as much. Is that like a strategic advantage before?
Yeah, basically, I don't want to stream all of our scrims and like our film time, because like we'll have times where we scrim and then after that map, before our next scrim, we'll watch something and just talk about like our break off or whatever it needs to be talked about. But I'll be mostly trying to stream on twitch.tv/TinyTV at nighttime for search and destroy tournaments.
Okay. Yeah, because that's how you and Silly been playing them, right?
Yeah, basically I just go to the gym after scrim so I can get a little time off and then just go back for the rest of the night and stream S&D. So the
grind is real. I love that about you. Thank you for coming on. Brett, any other questions or anything to say?
No, it's exciting to have you here, and good to have some Minnesota representation.
Sure. Yeah, this was an all Minnesota podcast because we were all born and raised here. That's right?
I wasn't born and raised, actually.
You moved when you were young, though,
Yeah,
right?
when I was really young, I moved here.
I've been here
I've been here long enough.
You've been here for like at least 10 years, right?
Oh, yeah,
okay,
for sure.
Tiny's from Minnesota. Okay, that's the deal. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening, you are listening probably on one of the many platforms that you can listen to a podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, hello, great to see you. We tried with the lights, the room's looking nice.
Hopefully I'm not ugly.
No, you look great. We all look great. We got new cameras. We're just beefing up over here. So we're stoked. Yeah, we're pack-a-punching the cameras and everything. So we're stoked. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. Make sure to subscribe or follow or rate on whatever platform you are listening on. And again, shout out to the WeWork for providing this space for us. We love doing the podcast every week, and we wouldn't be able to do it right now without them because our headquarters is just getting finished up, and we're excited to share that with you when it is done. So other than that, thanks for listening. Shout out to the WeWork, ROKKRtickets.gg. See you guys there.